Morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting for PPP. Sorry about that. For protection to person and property. But first, we have a delegation. We have a David Cox, Vice Chair of the Board of Directors from the Cape River Hospital, and Jana Hudson, who's the President and CEO. Are you on there?
Good morning, Dave Cox here. Can you? Okay.
Morning, Dave.
Good morning.
Is it just you, or is Jana coming too?
Here as well. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So if you guys want to take it over and do your presentation for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for this opportunity to speak to Laurentian Hills Council. My name's David Cox, and I'm Vice Chair of the Deep River and District Hospital Board, and I'm Chair of the subcommittee that's working to advance this important project for our community called the Four Seasons Lodge Expansion Project, long-term care facility. So I'll begin the presentation, and then I'll turn it over to Jana. I think, Jana, are you getting the presentation up?
The presentation was forwarded. I can't share my screen,
okay.
So unless the host would like to disable screen sharing, then we could share our screen.
I will attempt to do so.
Okay. As you're doing that, I'll just give a bit of an introduction then. So the Deep River and District Hospital Corporation consists of the Four Seasons Lodge, the North Renfrew Family Health Team, and of course the Deep River and District Hospital. These three business units all operate under one governance structure and really deliver multi-sector healthcare for our broader community. Jana Hudson is our Chief Executive Officer, and between her and I, we'll do a short presentation, the purpose of which is to explain the background to this project, which I believe is very important to our community, to demonstrate and talk about the community need for more long-term care capability, and provide an update on the status of the project, next steps, the timeline, and some support that we need from within the community. So on that note, I'll move into the next slide. The timeline for this project. We're already 3 years into it, surprisingly enough. The initial business case for this project was developed back in 2018. And there have been various submissions to the Ministry of Long-Term Care. And we were really pleased earlier this year, it seems like yesterday, but it's 6 or 7 months ago, John Yakubuski came out with a formal announcement that the government had decided what's termed a bed allocation. And this is 94 beds, 96 beds for the River District. That includes the 10 beds that are currently part of the Four Seasons Lodge. And so this new project is to provide new beds and to essentially replace the 10 beds in the existing facility. So for a total of 96 new beds in a new facility, which we're very excited about. But there's still lots to be done, and we're working towards ministry approval. I think we're getting very close to that, but it's always hard to predict of government, but everything is positive and moving in the right direction. So we're in detailed discussions around financing and around the details of the project. We have hired a project management firm to work closely with us, and they're on board. And if we get approval later this year or early into next year, we would be moving towards groundbreaking in 2022, and first residence occupancy in 2024. So overall, it would be really a 6-year project, and we're more or less in the middle of it. But important things to be done in in the current time frame is public consultation, reaching out to stakeholders, making sure that we incorporate within this new facility the features that best suit the needs of our broader communities. When I speak about the broader community, it's Deep River, Laurentian Hills, Petawawa, Head Clara, Mariah. That's our catchment area. And this facility will serve of all of our needs going forward into the future. So that's the timeline. And I'll just quickly speak about really the need that underpins the project. This slide shows a comparison of long-term care bed availability in different communities in the province of Ontario. Our broader community, as again I mentioned, Deep River includes Laurentian Hill, a portion of Petawawa and Head Clara, Mariah, with a population in that catchment of just under 16,000. And we currently have only a 35 long-term care bed allocation for a ratio of really about 1 bed per 454 senior residents. The provincial average is about 184. So you can see that if you look up and down the list, some communities are better served in terms of care bed availability than we are, and hence the need. It's really we're underserved by about a factor of 3, and that shows up again in the next slide as well. This is a pie chart that shows for our community in Renfrew County, the population of Renfrew County over age 65. Our catchment area includes about 10% of the 65 population. That's the pie chart on the left. You can see the Pembroke area is about 42%. Deep River catchment, including Laurentian Hills, portion of Petawawa, Head Clara, Mariah, is about 10%. And the pie chart on the right shows the allocation of long-term care beds in each of the communities. And so we're in at 3% of the available long-term care beds. So with the new expansion to the Four Seasons Lodge, it'll bring us up into alignment with provincial averages, and I think provide that needed additional service for our community. So that's the need. And now I'll turn it over to Jana Hodson, who will walk us through the project and the benefits that flow from this important undertaking. So Jana.
Thank you very much, Dave. And that's an excellent example of how important this project is, not just to health services, but to our community and broader community as a whole. So that's the exciting news and the project detail for our community specifically related to the project. There's a lot of sustained community impacts as well that are even above and beyond what the benefits are to the health system as a whole. So when we look at what those sustained community impacts are, they are definitely improving access to long-term care beds, correcting some of the health inequality for our area, but also impacting the broader community with economic development and sustainability for years to come. So when we look at our long-term care beds, what we're looking at is the operation and licensing for 30 years. So with our ministry contact, we're looking at the implications of and the expected projected operation for 30 years. Most long-term care homes go longer than 30 years. But when we're looking at these sustained impacts, they would be anticipated to last 30 years into the future from the date of occupancy. So a bit about employment and our current health campus and the current operational model. We employ about 82 full-time equivalents, or about 175 staff, mix of part-time, full-time, casuals, and the wide range of professions that are needed to sustain an operation and health services. So that also is spread throughout our area with people living and working kind of across North Renfrew and area. When we look at upon the first date of occupancy, we're looking at obviously increasing our staffing base, and that increase in staffing base will result in over $4.4 million in additional wages going out to our community at the date of occupancy. And every year, it will obviously be more than 4.4 as the years go by, but that is every year for the 30 years that we would be in operation for this. This will bring the total health campus wages going out to our community to over $10 million on an annual basis. So this is a substantial increase in our operations, but also in economic development and impact for our entire region. When we look at the employment opportunities for our community, currently, again, we're employing about 175 staff at the date of occupancy. We will need to double our staffing base. So we'll be looking at roughly about 160 full-time equivalents or 350 individuals to fill those various roles. So we're looking at significant employment opportunities for our local
Recording
population.
in progress.
Significant opportunities for our entire region in a wide range of quality jobs that offer pension benefits and sustained employment for our region. So not only does this impact those that are directly offered employment with our organization, but additionally as well, this also impacts the secondary benefits. Increased drive not only for local services and businesses, but spousal employment, housing needs for our area, childcare. There's a wide range of benefits that come from an employer increasing their staffing base so dramatically, as well as the economic drivers of having that much more wages on an annual basis for the next 30 years anticipated. So that's some of the, not some, but not all, but some of the key impacts that we wanted to share with Council, recognizing the significant impacts that this will have to our community. And when we look at, where our current staff base is coming from and where we anticipate into the future as well, the graph you'll see that says current residency of your workforce is where our current staffing live. And you'll see Laurentian Hills has roughly 13% of our current staff base. We anticipate these ranges would increase proportionally depending on where the housing availability is over the next 3 years and where people can reside, recognizing that there would be potentially an increased driver for housing needs throughout our region. And when we look at what the economic impact of those new wages are, again, this comes from some Stats Canada data, but where we look at where those increases of direct wages of $4.4 million will go, assuming that this is where our workforce will be calling home, we see just under $2 million per year will be injected back into our local economy here in North Renfrew, Deep River, Laurentian Hills area. We do anticipate that those $4.4 million obviously will go up as wages go up. But when we look at where those economic drivers will be and where those wages will go back to our community, we wanted to share this information with Council in order so that Council could be able to support and recognize that there will be demand on Laurentian Hills in the coming years to support opportunities such as housing and personal needs and shopping for the next few years, as well as potentially tax benefits that will be coming back to our local community. So important to share that this project has multiple benefits for our community, not just for our health services. So one of the main questions that we get as we look at this project is, where are the funds coming from? And the Ministry of Long-Term Care has been wonderful, and our government has been wonderful in supporting development of long-term care throughout the province, recognizing the significant need. So funding for capital projects such as this is done differently within the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Long-Term Care. Funding for projects within the Ministry of Long-Term Care is the upfront responsibility of the organization itself. Funding from the ministry will pay back over the course of duration of operations for the building or the operation. Essentially, the organization is taking out a mortgage, and the ministry is assisting us by paying us back in construction fee subsidies throughout the course of the 30 year of the license. So the carrying costs of this development, that $29 million of development, are the responsibility of the organization to bear, outside of that gradual reimbursement cost that the ministry will provide. So below, you'll see the graph that is the proposed plan on how the organization currently is planning to cover the cost of that $29 million development. So you look and see that we have $29 million or $25 million in debt financing that we are currently finalizing and pursuing, recognizing that will essentially be our mortgage that we'll be paying back. There is roughly $2.5 million in ministry grants to help us get started with fees such as hiring project manager and architect firms. We will be contributing roughly $500,000 from our reserves to advance this project. And we have targeted a $1 million fundraising goal, recognizing the impacts from our community, and we are requesting support from our community to help us achieve that. Recognizing, as Dave mentioned, that any advancements and specific community needs are the responsibility of our community and our organization as we adapt. That $1 million of fundraising support not only lowers the need for us to carry the costs, but also allows us to customize our home to meet the needs of our community. So the more we fundraise and the more funds we contribute, or the more costs we lower or reduce or avoid in our building, are more funds that we can not only be used for resident care, but used to build a home that truly suits what our community needs for the next 30 years into the future. So right now, that $29 million is a cost estimate. We recognize that construction costs in particular are incredibly unstable and increasing as well. So we are working with the ministry as well as monitoring very, very closely and looking for every opportunity we can for cost savings and efficiencies to lower the overall cost of the project. Recognizing that this is a huge amount for us to put in to a construction project, and we're looking to build as many efficiencies as we can going forward. As Dave mentioned, in March, we did receive project allocation. We are on the path where we have had beds allocated, and we are working towards that project approval. So what that means right now is we are undergoing a licensing review and financial review with the ministry. So we are actively working with them in order to proceed towards that development agreement execution. Part of that is engaging our communities and stakeholders to ensure that there is support for the project in the broader community. Part of that will be a public consultation process, which we are hoping to launch within the next 2 months, that will seek community input on the proposed development from the Ministry of Long-Term Care's perspective, so that we can proceed with the development agreement. We are looking at, and this week there was a preliminary RFP issued for an architecture firm. So we will be seeking to award that in the next couple of weeks and look at preliminary functional designs and a Class D estimate by the end of January and February to work towards that development design as well as development agreement execution. At that point, then we can move forward with shovels in the ground, but we are working through the preliminary red tape to get to that point with our project management firm and our board of directors and community partners. So we are recognizing that there are time limits on this as well, and moving forward as quickly as we can in order to address the need, but also to be able to support those economic drivers for our organization. So before I leave, I will leave you with a picture of what is possible for the future. So this has shamelessly been borrowed from the internet. This is a rendering of the beautiful new Groves long-term care home in Arnprior, which recently opened over the past few months. This is a 96-bed long-term care home, beautifully located in another location in Renfrew County and owned and operated by a hospital on the hospital property. So we are looking to borrow both their vision for the future, but also look at building on some of the efficiencies that have been gained with that project, recognizing their success story throughout the community, but also in their development and operation. So we leave you for a picture of what is the future here at the Deep River District Hospital with our Four Seasons Lodge expansion. And when I leave you with that picture, I'll turn it over to Dave to explain what our next steps are in our process.
Thank you, Jana. So just in terms of a summary, as Jana's explained, we're fast tracking this development to the extent that we can, but we believe that we are a priority with government approvals. Of course, those are still pending, but subject to ministry approval, we would be looking at breaking the ground later next year. So the fast track approval is something that we're working hard towards, and a lot of activities ongoing. This presentation today to Laurentian Hills Council is part of our initiation of our stakeholder engagement. All of our local municipalities are important stakeholders in this, and as Jana mentioned, we'll be moving in the next coming months into formal public consultation on this, where we'll be seeking to get public input so that we can customize some of the details of the project to meet best our community needs. So it's unfolding quickly. And then in terms of what we need from council, it would be very beneficial if we could have a letter of project support from Laurentian Hills. That would be beneficial in terms of helping to get the final little pins in the board in terms of ministry approvals for this. Help push it over the top. Advocacy and partnering with the community. What I mean there is, as we launch fundraising and as we launch consultation for community input, Laurentian Hills, important stakeholder in this project, advocating within the community and leading the community into engagement on this would be very helpful to us. And the broad North Renfrew community will benefit from this project as in many ways, as Jenna has described, but it's up to us to provide the guidance on how this could be customized and best meet our needs. So thank you very much for your time this morning, and we'll be happy to try and answer any questions that arise. Thank you much.
Okay, thank you, Jan and Dave. Very informative presentation. I didn't know the community were that far behind. So has anybody else on council got any questions? Deputy Mayor Ann Giardini, sorry.
Hi, Jana. Hi, Dave. Excellent presentation. I'm really, I know that there's been a lot of work put into this, and I don't believe you'll have any problem with getting the support of our council. We certainly recognize that there is a need for more beds in this area. Having an elderly mother-in-law, we're looking to, putting her somewhere in Arnprior or Renfrew right now. It's just, it's sad. So is there anything that can be done to help towards the ministry approval? I know that this has been in the works for quite some time. But is there anything that the councils can do to give support or to hurry this along?
So I'll start just with, I think a letter of support that we can reference would be beneficial. So that's sort of one simple request. The other elements of advocating with the ministry, I think, are well in hand. But Jana, anything else that you want to highlight there?
At this point, we are trying to raise both the profile and awareness for the need to move forward in a timely fashion with this project. We all recognize that there are time limits on approvals, and we're looking forward to move forward to that development agreement as quickly as possible. So a letter of support would be wonderful. We are working with the MPP's office as well, recognizing that might also smooth the road. But advocacy and a letter at this point are what our requests are. Open to other suggestions, but at this point, that is our current need.
I should also add that the ministry will be undertaking some form of a public consultation, probably ministry-led, and probably an online type of consultation. And when that comes out, we'll certainly raise that to your attention. But to engage in that process would be beneficial as well. So providing your input directly to the ministry when they ask through the consultation process. Again, not knowing exactly what that's going to look like yet. But when that happens, we will highlight it to your attention.
Okay, can I add one more thing, Councillor?
Yeah, go ahead.
So yes, thank you for that. The other thing is I particularly like your last slide where you show a picture of the Grove in Arnprior, and it's nice to know that you are looking at what's out there right now, and you're not trying to reinvent the wheel when it comes to getting that ministry approval, that you are using lessons learned from other places, and you'll just go with that based on what our community needs for sure. So thank you for your presentation.
Anyone else? Mayor Rainwell?
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to repeat myself from what I stated at the county council with your presentation, Jana and Dave. And the three things I had to say was wow, wow, and wow. Very, very pleased here. And you're the buzz of the town and the townships right now. A lot of people are talking about this, and long overdue. You have the numbers to show it, to prove it. And we would certainly, I think, be honored to provide a letter of project support at this point in time. So very pleased with you. I know it's taken a lot of hard work from a lot of people, not just the two of you, but a lot of others, both previous and current. And so we're certainly keeping our fingers crossed, and we certainly would like to support you on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, do you have any questions? Your speaker is off, Mr. Hoyle.
It's just great to see this coming to the community, and anything that we can do to support. I know we have lots of residents here in the village that that's their biggest fear as we're aging, is nowhere to go in the immediate area. So this is definitely a positive, and you definitely have our support.
So again, thank you, Jan and Dave. I'll be looking to get a room shortly. Hope you have it built for me.
Very good. Thanks again for your time. Great to see you, Anne.
As you can see, you have our total support. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll get back to PP&P. In front of you have the fire chief's report for the month of October. Any questions? We'll try to get you some answers if you have any. Mayor Rainwell?
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going by memory because I don't have my other laptop going. One of the questions I had, and I already have the answer to, but I just want to put it out there. It was to do with the VA loans. They're due in about 5 years, but there's already in our budget. It's already budgeted for, so really I have no concerns with that. I just wanted to let you know what my question was. Thank you.
Mr. Hoyle or Councillor Hoyle? Sorry.
No, it's all good. The vandalism, do we know what that was? Because there's been lots of vandalism going on around the village as well.
I'm not privy to that yet. Maybe Sherry has an answer? Oh, Mayor Rainwell?
I can tell you that there's been a bunch of vandalism that's been going on in the area over the last little while. P have been very supportive in the last little while, not only just with vandalism, but also with speeding, and also with school busing. I do believe that there's going to be some monitoring going on up in that area, and hopefully that it'll be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Deputy Mayor Ann Giardini?
Okay, I just wanted to commend Kevin on getting those 2 extra grants there from the fire marshals and from the Trans-Canada Pipeline. Good to know. He's always looking for ways to save money, and good on you, Kevin.
Mayor Rainwell?
Thank you, Chair. I think Sherry wanted to say something.
I just wanted to let council know that specific to the fire hall vandalism was the disappearance of some traffic cones and a little bit of vandalism at the WCT tower.
Thank you, Sherry. If there's no other questions on fire, seeing none, we'll move to the building department. You have Gord's building inspection report for the month of October. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to Gord's mileage inspection report. Any questions? Seeing none. Emergency preparedness. I would imagine there's no meetings. Mayor Rainwell, update?
Thank you, Chair. There were meetings, but there was a province of Ontario notification offsite response on November the 12th. That was at CNL. It was basically it was a surface water leak. I'm going by memory here. I had it all written, but I don't have that with me. It was a surface water leak. And so there was no get together required. I received a call at about 3:30 on the morning of the 12th from the Deep River Police. It was a reportable event, but there was no emissions had occurred, and there were no emissions were expected. And so basically there was no public alerting required, or there's an emergency bulletin will not be required also. So it was basically a flood in one of the buildings, and everything was taken care of, and no releases of contamination of any sort. So that's all I have for that.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll move on to police for an update. Mayor Rainwell? I have nothing.
Thank you, Chair. For as far as the policing goes, we have not had any meetings. However, I have had some communication with the detachment commander with some of the things we've talked about vandalism in the area, also excessive speeding, and also people running the lights on the buses. There's been a number of fines that have happened over the last few weeks. And I noticed yesterday they were out there in full force again on Highway 17 near the Plant Road area, and also throughout the town and the village. So there's been some concerns in that area, and they're trying to address some of those problems. That's all I have. Any questions?
Councillor Hoyle?
Yeah, I reached out to the staff sergeant Newfield one evening to Mayor Reinwald. Have some calls here and some complaints. He acted right away. He got back to me, which he always does, which is amazing. And apparently they actually caught the kids, I guess I can call them, over different places here in the village that were causing mischief. So it was good. So hopefully that'll slow some stuff down too, if they were the ones involved with anything else going on. Anyway, again, kids, I guess, being kids, but they're not really being kids when they're causing vandalism. So I just wanted to give a kudos to the staff sergeant for his quick response.
Any other comments? Seeing none, I'll move on to other business. I have nothing. Closed session, I don't have anything. Adjournment at 10:39. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Public Works to order. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? There are no delegations or presentations. Roads, we have the Public Works Superintendent's report for October and the month of November. Any questions or comments on that? No? Well, they're out there now, right? Our guys are out there sanding and salting or whatever they're doing, yeah, with the weather. Nothing for streetlights, water and sewer. We have the Veolia Chalk River wastewater treatment plant and the water treatment plant Q3, operation reports. Any questions or comments on those? I know I'm assured that, Mayor Reinwald, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. With the water treatment plant, there's a few things that are required to be done. I think it's fairly minor, but on the wastewater treatment plant, there was some recommendations there also, and I just wanted to make sure that these get covered in our, probably next year's budget, if it's all possible. Thank you.
Yes, I know. In chatting with the CAO, she confirmed that any of the concerns that have been raised are either have been taken care of or are in the works of being responded to. Yes. So Sherry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is always the case. Any recommendations are looked at and actioned on. Okay. Waste sites. My only question is, do we have a date and time for the mayor and CAO's meeting with Deep River?
Not at this point in time.
Okay. Thank you. Airport.
For the airport, I don't have nothing really to report other than there is having a regular meeting of the Pembroke Area Airport Commission tomorrow, actually, at 3 p.m. And so we'll be going over the regular items like our budget and so on. And also, I think there's some new information that has come forward with regards to the fueling stations. So I'll be able to inform you better when at our next session. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have nothing for other business, and I have nothing for a closed session. I will adjourn at 10:42. So I will call to order the Committee of the Whole for Community and Social Services. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? None. Delegations and presentations? None. So we have, I'm going to actually bring this up here. So we have the library minutes from October 18th meeting and the October reports for Point Alexander and Chalk River. Are there any comments or questions on those? I know that Mayor Reinwald.
Thank you, Chair. No comments or questions directly, but I'd just like to give kudos out to the folks that are, they've been doing a super job and keeping the keeping the libraries open and following all the protocols and sort of looking outside the box in order to try to provide a good service. So thank you very much to those folks.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what makes our small town such a wonderful place to live. You get those special little perks that you get from living in a small town. Okay, recreation. I have nothing for an update there, and I have nothing on the Resource Center and Nursery School. So other business, we have a request from Becky Daynard from the Lions Club to use the Chalk River Rink on February 5th to do a jug curling event during the Winter Carnival. Okay, so are there any comments on this? I believe the issue here is one of insurance. Councillor Hoyle.
Yes, thank you. My question is, I don't believe they want the building, which is great because they have the line salt to do registration and stuff. My concern is, what about the insurance if someone goes there for a birthday party? We've had that before. Like, people have had birthday parties and brought all the kids and other parents on the rink. Broom ball. Other people use it on different evenings to have broom ball. So I know they're just falling underneath the municipality's insurance, I believe, right? So what would be the difference here with them just using the rink and not the building? That's my question.
So if somebody is using the facility and hasn't requested for an event, they're not covered under the town's insurance. They're using the facility at their own risk. We, to my knowledge, have never rented out for birthdays. Again, if there is a group using that facility, this is an actual request for an event. So other users of our building here are covered, including Fen, and are covered under their own insurance, and they indemnify the town first.
Okay, but they don't want the building. They're just using the ice surface that anybody can go use at any given day. That's my comment. Like that's what I'm kind of struggling with. So anybody can go use the rink any day. Pardon me? Anyway,
Okay,
yeah. So sorry, I must have been cut off.
Okay, so your concern is that you're asking what is the difference between somebody actually requesting to use the ice surface versus a group that just goes and uses it?
Exactly. Like they're not like who do they fall under that if they're using the rink? Like
I'm sorry, I can't hear anybody.
Okay, Sherry, can you hear me?
Very faintly.
Okay, I'll try again. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So the question that Councillor Hoyle was asking is, why is there a difference between a group coming in and just using the ice surface versus a group that has a formal request to use the ice surface? So wouldn't that be the same as a group using the ball diamond for a tournament all weekend?
So they are using at their own risk. It's not a municipal event.
Okay, so neither
is holding a carnival and an event within that carnival. They really should be covered should somebody be injured, and indemnify the town on their insurance. I mean, if they want to use at their own risk and not involve the town in it, but they are asking for permission to use the facility.
So we can grant them permission to use the rink, but they must use it at their own risk.
So our insurer is not recommending that.
So there is no insurance in place right now on the part of the Lions Hall.
So I inquired and they're not insured for that event.
Okay, so where do we go from here? We have to decide. So staff is recommending that we grant permission to the Lions Hall to use the rink if they get insurance.
Is that council's wish?
Well, I'd like a little bit more. I'd like maybe the mayor's input on this and Councillor Boucher. I don't know if we have to bring this to a vote. Mayor Reinwald, please.
I feel like we're caught between a rock and a hard place here.
Mm-hmm.
The communities out there, people in the community out there can use it on an ad hoc basis. But this is an organized event, and I understand where Councillor Hoyle is coming from, but I can also understand about the liability. So I'd really like to see this take place. But I'm not sure if the town should be putting itself liable for doing this. And I'm just wondering if the Lions Club would be willing to insure for that particular day. I don't have an answer. I don't have a magic wand. I certainly like to see it go forward, but I don't want it to be done at the extent of having some negative impacts within the town. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hoyle.
So I know, like with other municipalities that have, it started a few years ago. If they rent the rink for public, they want to have a birthday party at the rink, you have to have insurance for the ice, and they can buy the insurance through the town for that event. So I was just wondering if maybe this is something that staff can look into. If this is the way that they want is the insurance to be in place, then possibly we can provide the insurance for a cost for that day.
So I can make the inquiry from our insurer if the Lions can purchase for that event.
Perfect.
That would be great. Councillor Boucher, you got your hand up?
I think we're all in favor of this because it's a great idea to get people out. Can we postpone this till December and Sherry finds out some more information for us? Because it's not till February.
Yes, so absolutely. I believe we will defer this. So it looks like the general consensus of council is that there needs to be insurance in place. As council, we've been made aware that this is something that we should have. So we will leave it with our CAO to look into possibly doing as Councillor Hoyle had suggested, either renting out insurance through us or we'll leave it with that for now. Is that good with everybody? Just a nod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Staff maybe oh, sorry.
And we all agree that we want this to go forward for sure. Yeah.
100%. Can we maybe let the Lions Club know what's taking place, so they're not sitting in limbo?
Absolutely.
Yes,
perfect.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor Reinwald.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering, should we be having discussions with the Lions Club Hall before maybe we should get the information first to see if it's doable, and then contact the Lions Club Hall. By that time, we'll be having our meeting in December, and we'll know one way or the other for sure. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. My agenda. Okay, so I have nothing for a closed session and I will adjourn at 10:52.
Okay, I'll call to order the Committee of the Whole for Finance and Personnel. Declaration of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Delegations and presentations. None. Administration. Sherry, did you want to talk about that? The change in December meetings from December 21st to December 15th?
Yes, we are going to be short-staffed in the office throughout the month of December at various times. So we're asking if council would consider changing the meeting from the 22nd to the 15th, when we at least have 3 people in the office.
Anybody have any questions or concerns? Okay, let's do it. Getting to 22nd is getting a little bit tight time-wise. Okay, the next item is Christmas closing. December.
This again is typical of previous years that we closed between that time. Staff has the vacation time to cover any days that we will be closed.
Okay, thank you. And the next item is January committee meeting date change from January 4th to 19th of January 2022, incorporating the committee business into council meeting. There won't be a whole lot happening between the meeting on December 15th to January the 4th, unless we want to show each other our Christmas gifts at the meeting. So I would definitely recommend on moving this forward to the 19th if everyone else is okay with it. Okay, we'll move that to the 19th, Sherry. And there'll be resolutions at council for that. So next item is on financial comparison to budget as of 12th of November 2021. Anyone have any questions on that? Seeing none. 2021 tax write-offs. Any questions there? That'll be brought up in resolution also, the council. Thank you. Staff training personnel issues? None. Other business. Correspondence from Lynn Smith, CPAN Executive Director, regarding Renfrew County's Festival of Trees. Discussions on that. Being none. The Ontario Municipal Partnership Fund 2022 allocation notice for the town of Laurentian Hills. Discussions? None? Sorry, Sherry?
It's not a discussion on the last agenda item, but I just want council to know that the Santa Claus parade or the lunch with Santa is canceled with the Legion this year, but they will be having a parade. Last year, we shifted the money that we support the lunch with Santa to the parade to provide for candy for the kids. And if committee is okay, we will do the same again this year.
Everyone okay with that? Okay, then we'll do it. Next, a closed session, being none, and adjournment at 10:56. And we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and so I can get my other computer up and running here. Welcome back, everyone. It's now 11:02. We're about to start our regular meeting of County Council. Called Dave Cox from the Deep River District Hospital. Next item is adoption of minutes. So I get a mover and a seconder for adoption of the minutes of October 20th. Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Bruce Boucher. Be it hereby resolved the minutes of the regular meeting of council of 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. The next item is the special council meeting. Can I get a mover and a seconder on that, please? Moved by Ann, seconded by John. Be hereby resolved the minutes of the special council of 20th October 2021 adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. Did I get a mover and a seconder for the special meeting of October 28th, please? Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by John Hoyle. Be hereby resolved the minutes of the meeting special meeting of council on 28th of October 2021 be adopted as circulated. All in favor? And carried. Next item is the mover and a seconder for a special meeting of council of 5th of November. Mover and seconder by Bruce. Be hereby resolved the minute of the special meeting of council of 5th of November 2021 be adopted as circulated. Discussions? All in favor? And carried. Next item is the standing committee reports. Get a mover and a seconder on that, please. Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Andrew Dini. Be it hereby resolved the minutes of the meeting committee of the whole for the protection of persons and property of 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. Okay, I need a mover for planning, please. Mover and a seconder. Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Bruce Boucher. Be it hereby resolved the minutes of the meeting of the committee of the whole for planning of 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. Next item for mover and seconder for public works. Moved by Ann Giardini, seconded by John Hoyle. Be it hereby resolved the minutes of the meeting of the committee of the whole for public works of 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. Okay, I'll need a mover and a seconder for community and social services. Moved by Ann Giardini, seconded by John Hoyle. Be hereby resolved the minutes of the meeting committee of the whole for community and social services of 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. Next item, I mover for finance and personnel. Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Ann Giardini. Be it hereby resolved, the minutes of the meeting of the Committee of the Whole for Finance and Personnel, 20th October 2021 be adopted as circulated. Discussions, all in favor? And carried. Next item is business rising under previous minutes. Being none. Other reports, Viola Water, Chalk River Drinking Water and Wastewater. Could I get a mover and a seconder on that, please? Moved by Andrew Dini, seconded by John Hoyle. Be it hereby resolved that this council does acknowledge receipt of the Q3 operations report for the Chalk River Wastewater Treatment Plant and the Chalk River Drinking Water System from Viola Water Canada, Inc. Any discussions? All in favor? Carried. Next item is Mayor's update. Okay, so for the month of December, I attended the special meeting of council here in Laurentian Hills. On November 8th, I attended the Development Property Committee meeting via Zoom, and on the 9th, the Community Services Committee meeting. On November 11th, I attended the Remembrance Day ceremony at the Chalk River Legion. Attendance was fairly low, but it was very well received. And so for tomorrow, I will be, well, as I mentioned earlier in committee, I'll be going to the Pemmican Area Airport Commission meeting. And it's a regular meeting. There will be some discussion, I believe, with regards to the fuel tanks. And then on the 24th, I will be attending the county council. And that concludes my report. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Okay, next item, bylaws. Could I get a mover and a seconder with regards to bylaw number 3821? Moved by Bruce, seconded by Ann. Be it hereby resolved that bylaw number 3821 being a bylaw to authorize an agreement between Her Majesty the Queen and the Right of Canada as represented by the Minister of Natural Resources, acting through the Canadian Forest Services, Canadian Wood Fiber Center, Petawawa Research Forest, and Arcan. Do now be read a first, second, third time, and pass. Any discussions on that? All in favor? And carried. Next item is approval of accounts. Resolution to accept the unaudited statements of revenues. Get a mover and seconder on that, please. Moved by Andrew, seconded by, how about John Hoyle? Be hereby resolved that this council does acknowledge receipt of the unaudited statement of revenues and expenses as compared to budget as of the 12th of November, 2021. Discussions? All in favor? And carried. Next item, petitions. None. Correspondence, none. Well, action items. A resolution from Municipality Métis Valcourt, I guess that's how it's pronounced. Get a mover and seconder on that, please. Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by John Andrew. Be it hereby resolved that the resolutions from the Municipality of Métis Valcourt regarding the delay for reassessment of properties in Ontario be filed or endorsed. Discussions around that, please.
I'd like to endorse this, Mayor Reinwald.
Okay, anyone else have any comments? Bruce, wish to endorse? Anne, you have any comments? Okay, so that's 3 endorsed. And carried. Oh, all in favor? Hands, show of hands, please. Carried.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I do believe that under, there's one other action item that is listed under information, item F, needs an answer on it. So I think that maybe we could address that under the action items as well. That's to do with the tree for the long-term care service. And also your presence for a welcome and Christmas message.
So that was under information.
Yeah, but it needs action.
We're checking.
Okay.
So
We can
that
leave
is
it where
something that we do every second year, provide the tree, and somebody is usually there for the opening ceremonies for the lighting up the tree.
Yep.
Public Works is aware and will be providing the tree.
Okay, we'll leave it where it is then.
Okay. Thank you for keeping us sharp. Under information items, can I a mover and a seconder with regards to information items, please? Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by John Hoyle. Be hereby resolved that all items of correspondence be filed. Any discussions? Item F we discussed. All in favor? And carried. Next item. Get a mover and a seconder, please, with regards to the actually unfinished business December meeting dates. Moved by Andrew Dede, seconded by John Hoyle. Be it hereby resolved, this council of the town of Laurentian Hills does authorize the rescheduling of the December council meeting from December 22nd to December 15th. All in favor? And carried. Mover and a seconder on with regards to Christmas closing, please. Moved by Bruce Boucher, seconded by Andrew Dede. Be it hereby resolved that this council of the town of Laurentian Hills does authorize the closing of the municipal office and operations between December 24th and December 31st, 2021. Discussions? All in favor? And carried. Can I get a mover and a seconder with regards to the January meeting, please? Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Andrew Dede. Be it hereby resolved that this council of the town of Laurentian Hills does authorize the rescheduling of the committee to hold meetings from Tuesday, January 4th to Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, prior to the council meeting. Any further discussions? All in favor? And carried. Next item. Tax write-offs. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, with regards to tax write-off? Moved by John Hoyle, seconded by Bruce Boucher. Whereas in accordance with section 354(2) of the Municipal Act 25 SO 2001 as amended, the treasurer ascertains the following tax as uncollectible for 2021 tax year and recommends to council that such taxes be struck from the roll. Now, therefore, it be resolved that this council of the town of Laurentian Hills hereby approves that the following tax be struck from the 2021 taxation roll, and totaling the $1,859.40. Any discussions on that? All in favor? And carried.
there's a under new business. There's no resolutions for that, eh?
No, it's just for information.
Okay. Under new business, just under information purposes, you've seen some correspondence from Bruce Howarth, the manager of planning services for the county of Renfrew regarding a planning services agreement. Anybody have anything to comment? Okay. The next item is a letter from Renfrew County Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Cushman, regarding COVID-19 mandatory vaccination policies. Anybody have any comments on that? Anne?
So are we going to be discussing this right now as to whether we want to put in place a mandatory vaccination policy?
I personally, I think what we should be doing, the county of Renfrew is going to be, I think they're going to be finalizing their bylaw on this next week at county council. And I'd like to suggest that, well, let's see what rolls out from that. And then we can move forward after that point in time. I also know that there's going to be a reduction in staff here during the month of December. So maybe we could take a look at that in the new year, if everyone's okay with that. Anne, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I know that the county has gone forward with this, but I'm also looking at how the province, what they're planning for January, February, March. And I don't know that it's even worth putting so much effort into it. So I agree with following what the county's doing and just waiting to see what happens there.
And I agree with Bruce, go ahead.
I agree with what Anne's saying. The only problem with it is the numbers in Ontario seem to be going up and up instead of down and down. So I'd like to look at it again in December meeting after the county's made a decision.
Yes.
Okay. Just to go back to Anne's comment, I somewhat agree with you there, Anne, because the things are starting to drop off, especially in our area. Our staff here has done an incredible job, within our municipality by keeping everyone safe. They have some very, very strict protocols in place from the time you actually enter the building, and the hand sanitization, the wearing of the mask, the checklists before you even get to see somebody. And if you don't meet any of those criteria, then you're turned around and you're back out the door. So they're doing an incredible job here, and so I'd like to see what happens at the county first before we decide to do anything further after that, if that's okay with everyone.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Next item, closed session be none. Motions and no motions, none. Confirmatory bylaw. Oh, there's one other item here. Sponsorship donation. Okay. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, with regards to the confirmatory bylaw? Moved by Andreini, seconded by, a seconder, please, John Hoyle. Be hereby resolved that bylaw number 3921 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Town of Laurentian Hills meeting of council held on November 17, 2021. You now be read a first, second, third time and passed. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried. And last but not least, adjournment. Can I get a mover and a seconder on adjournment, please? Oh, that's Bruce Boucher right off the top. And who's a seconder? Who can we get for a seconder? And Giardini. Be it hereby resolved that this meeting council of the town of Laurentian Hills do now adjourn at 11:22 a.m. All in favor? And carried.